Well, good morning and welcome to day number 8 of my trip to the USA, and here's how quickly do the days go by. And we have another absolutely beautiful day here in Washington DC, and today I'm actually heading off to the Arlington National Cemetery. So if you're not quite sure, or you've never heard of the Arlington National Cemetery before, I'm sure you have. It's probably the most famous or most prestigious cemetery in America. So, and that is because a lot of the war veterans are buried there, but also JFK is buried there, and the tomb of the unknown soldier, plus just many celebrities and dignitaries of the US. So it's a massive site apparently, so it should be I'd say it's not obviously not going to be fun or entertaining like some of the other stuff I've done so far, but another thing that I've really been looking forward to seeing. And then after that, I'm going to head to the Pentagon. So that's another thing I've got to see while I'm here. Now the problem is I can't actually film the Pentagon. It's probably one of the most secure places in the world, and if I point the camera at the Pentagon, then there might be some black SUVs roll up and you might not see me again. So anyway, I'll actually the main reason too I want to go there is because it is September the 10th today. Of course, the anniversary of September 11 is tomorrow. I'm going to miss that because I'm going to be on a plane, but I want to do the trifecta and see the 9/11 memorial of the Pentagon. I've already been to Ground Zero and Shanksville that you've seen earlier in the episodes. So I want to tick that off today. But first, coffee and a little bit of a walk down the street. So, as I said, it's a beautiful day, and grab an Uber, go to the Arlington Cemetery, and have a big day 8 here in Washington DC.
Owned by George Washington Parke Custis. He was the grandson of Martha Washington and her first husband, and so the heritage of this property goes back to our founding families. We have well over 400,000 laid to rest here. That's the official number, well over 400,000. They've used that number ever since I've been here. So my guess is it's probably around 450,000 at this point. And it's raised to full staff half an hour after the last funeral of the day. It is at half staff, not at half mast. Half mast is aboard a naval vessel. Markers all lined up on the diagonal. So service members' information goes on the front of a marker, and their dependents' information goes on the back. So you're looking at the back of the markers, right up here, very poignant. Infant, their son, lived for one day.
This is a tombstone to honour Thresher, the nuclear sub that went down with everyone on board on its maiden voyage. 129 men lost, and it's still there today because it's nuclear, and they don't want to risk bringing it back up. And here is Matt L. Urban, the most decorated soldier of all time. Medal of Honor, plus numerous Purple Hearts and Silver Stars, you name it, he had it. So he is officially the most decorated officer in the history of the United States Army or military. And there is the grave of the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. And next to him, actor Lee Marvin.
and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Central Raft of the 3rd Regiment, United States.
Right, Space Shuttle Columbia, and in between is for the failed Iran hostage rescue mission. There are partial remains of these astronauts and these service members underneath these markers. In October of 2021, I had a brigadier general in the Israeli army with me, and he wanted to know if we were going to see the Columbia Memorial. I said, absolutely. If you look at the Columbia Memorial, there's 7 astronauts on the shuttles. If you look on the right wing, you have the name of the Israeli astronaut. The last mission of the Columbia was an international mission. And so you had an Israeli astronaut, Ilan Roman, and Ilan Roman was this general's next door neighbor.
And check out this view.
Absolutely stunning view.
Stunning views of Washington, D.C.
No tall buildings in Washington, and one of the stories that everyone hears, because no building can be taller than the wall. The reality is it has to go back to early fire codes. So back in the 1800s, you really couldn't fight a fire with a building much more than 5 yards.
This here is the Arlington House, home of Confederate leader Robert E. Lee, until the government acquired it, and then years later the wife of Robert E. Lee successfully reacquired it from the government and through the Supreme Court. There is a better view of the Arlington House. $12 million worth of renovations last year, worth a lot of money. And there is the grave of John F. Kennedy. Also buried with him there is his wife Jackie, like it's his brother, and also a daughter that I think died at birth, but the eternal flame, which was his wife Jackie's idea. And it burns 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Wow, just amazing. I know I've said that a lot on my journeys here, but that was fantastic. And Jim, our tour guide, who I also had for the Lincoln assassination tour yesterday, so I doubled up with him. He was just as good today as what he was yesterday, and money well spent. So if you're coming to Washington, make sure you check out the Arlington National Cemetery, and yeah, you won't be disappointed. Again, I know it's not normally the thing that a lot of people might enjoy, but just the sights and the way they do it, just again, they do it so well with the monuments and memorials and all that sort of stuff over here. So I'm going to take a little bit of a spell, get a bottle of water. It's a very hot day, and see if we can make our way down to the Pentagon. Well, that was a bummer. I've just got an Uber out to the 9/11 memorial at the Pentagon, and it is closed. Obviously with September 11 tomorrow, you can see they're getting set up for commemorations, and it won't be open until the day after, so it is what it is. Yeah, not much I can do about it, so it's just yeah, they commemorate it very well over here, and obviously takes them a couple of days to get set up. So anyway, we'll go back to where we came from, or the hotel, and see what else I can do to fill the rest of the day. Let me see the Pentagon, the memorial. I'm going to show you the Pentagon. That is it right there. There you go. Take that, United States government. Now I know what you're thinking. What the hell are you doing going to a Holocaust museum? Well, I think you've got to know your history, whether it's good or bad. I just think it's, especially in an instance of something like that, I think it's very important to actually understand how it came about. So I think everyone should sort of learn what actually happened back then. And look, it was absolutely horrific just to see the information there, exhibits and other stuff in there. It was quite confronting, if I'm being honest. But that's, by the way, it's the National Holocaust Museum here in Washington. But yeah, just very, very eye-opening. And to think that could happen in our history is just crazy. And it's really interesting to read how Adolf Hitler came to power and how easily he was able to take control, and in the end really change our history forever. So look, I'm glad I did it. Wasn't as you can imagine the funnest thing I've done since I've been here, but as I said, I think to hopefully stop something like that happening again, you have to confront it head on, and what it was and how it played a part in the history of our history of mankind. So anyway, just to finish off my trip here in Washington, I'm going to head to the Hard Rock Cafe and try and put a bit more of a positive spin on the day. It's been a little bit morbid, so we'll go to the Hard Rock, listen to a bit of music, hopefully have a good old-fashioned American burger, and call it a night for an early one tomorrow morning on our way to Las Vegas. Ooh, well, as usual, I've eaten way too much. Not only just the burger, couldn't help myself. I was talked into a bit of cheesecake, New York cheesecake, and to be polite, I finished a lot, and now I can barely walk. So that'll conclude this video anyway on a good note after a pretty somber day. But that was good to get in there and finish off the day with a good feed anyway. So alright, well, hope you've enjoyed episode 8, and we'll look forward to heading to Vegas tomorrow for episode 9. Catch you then.